All right, let's dive in. Today we're getting into the art and the science behind mentorship. It's one of the most powerful ways to grow, both personally and professionally. We're going to unpack the core principles that really make these relationships tick, all based on a fantastic guide to the topic. But before we jump into all the frameworks and theories, let's just start with a really basic question. What actually makes someone a good mentor? I mean, it's got to be more than just giving advice, right? It's really about guidance, trust, and being genuinely invested in someone's journey. And this idea, well, it's ancient. The word mentor itself actually comes to us straight from Greek mythology. In Homer's Odyssey, when Odysseus had to go off to fight in the Trojan War, he left his son, Telemachus, with his trusted friend named Mentor. And the name just stuck. Ever since, it's meant a wise, trusted guide. So here's the game plan for today. First, we'll nail down what a mentor really is. Then, we'll get into the science of why this stuff is so effective. We'll also walk through the 4 phases every mentoring relationship goes through. And we'll wrap up with a really cool, modern idea, your own personal board of directors. Okay, so let's start by getting a really clear modern definition. We hear all these words thrown around: coach, advisor, sponsor. So where does a mentor fit in? What makes that role so unique? This breakdown really helps clear things up. See, an advisor helps you make a choice. A coach helps you nail a specific skill. A sponsor, well, they use their influence to open doors for you. But a mentor? That's about your whole long-term development. It's a deep two-way relationship. And here's the key. A mentor can definitely act as a coach, but a coach isn't automatically a mentor. Now for the really cool part, the science of growth. Why do these relationships work so well? We're about to pop the hood and look at the theories that power great mentorship. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here. Psychological safety. This is the absolute bedrock. It's creating a space where you can be vulnerable, where you can say, I don't know, or talk about a mistake you made without being afraid of looking dumb. Without that trust and respect, real growth is pretty much impossible. So this leads to a really critical question for any mentor. If the whole point is growth, you have to challenge your mentee. But how do you push them to get better without, totally pushing them away? It's a fine line. And boom, this is the answer. The Dallas model shows us that the real magic, the real growth, happens in one specific spot, where high support meets high challenge. Just being a cheerleader isn't enough, and being super challenging without any support, that's even worse. You gotta have both. Let's make this crystal clear. Look at the difference here. When you have high challenge but low support, that actually leads to regression. The person just feels anxious and overwhelmed. But take that same high level of challenge and pair it with high support, and you get empowerment. You create that safe zone they need to step outside their comfort zone, and that's exactly where the learning happens. You know that little sweet spot for learning we keep talking about? It actually has a name. It's called the zone of proximal development. Basically, it's the gap between what you can already do on your own and what you could do with just the right amount of help. A great mentor lives in this zone. And the kind of help a mentor gives in that zone, it's called scaffolding. The best analogy is training wheels on a bike. At first, they give you all the support you need. But as you get your balance and gain confidence, the mentor starts to pull that support away, piece by piece, until suddenly you look down and realize you're riding all on your own. Now, this whole process of building someone up isn't just random. It actually follows a pretty predictable path. Think of a mentoring relationship as a journey with a clear life cycle. One that goes from a simple handshake to, hopefully, a real friendship. So, according to the research of Kathy Cram, this journey has 4 phases. It all starts with initiation. That's where you're just building trust. Then you move into cultivation, which is the main event, the active learning part that can go on for years. Over time, you'll reach separation, where the mentee starts to stand on their own 2 feet. And for a lot of people, the final phase is redefinition, where the whole thing transforms into a friendship between equals. So the goal is always independence. But let's be real. In the world we live in today, does that old school model of a single, all-knowing mentor even make sense anymore? Well, the modern answer is leaning towards something a lot more flexible. And here's why. The world is just complex. It's almost impossible for one person to have all the answers and all the guidance someone needs for their career today. Our paths aren't linear anymore, and the skills we need are so diverse. That traditional model of a single Yoda-like figure is just hitting its limits. And because of that, mentorship has evolved. You can see the shift right here. We've gone from that simple one-on-one pairing to things like group mentoring, peer mentoring, and maybe most importantly, mentoring networks. It's about building a whole team to support you. The best way to think about this is building your own personal board of directors. A network means you can get tons of different perspectives on a single problem. You can go to one person for technical skills, another for career advice. It also takes the pressure off any one mentor to be your everything. And the best part? You get to be the architect. You build the team you need for your journey. Because in the end, whether it's one mentor or a whole network, the goal is exactly the same. And this quote from Steven Spielberg just says it perfectly. The delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves. And that really brings us to the core of it all. True mentorship is about empowering someone else to build their own future. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Who's on your personal board of directors right now? And who might you need to recruit next?